Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Latin America show. My name is Enrique Gelista, and well, of course, it's a pleasure for me to be tonight with all of you because, well, we have prepared, as always, a fantastic show for you, but also we are prepared for this season, for these holidays, for Christmas and New Year. So we have extraordinary shows for you prepared. We have a bunch of prizes, and I just want to let you know that, well, for example, tonight we're going to talk about. I just have to guide to hide sorry the that we're going to talk about rum because sometimes Facebook is a little bit it's a little bit difficult and it's not allowing me to put things like rum because they believe that we are going to encourage you to drink alcohol. However, I think so. We are talking about a massive industry and something that is very important in Latin America. And well, in this occasion, we're going to talk about rum from Colombia, Hechicera. Also, we're going to talk on a fantastic paradise that is El Salvador. El Salvador is a country, and also we're going to talk about something that is very relevant in El Salvador, that is the surf. So, well, if you are looking for a location and if you really like to surf, well, the surfing, go to El Salvador, and you will know the reason why. We're going to tell you here that reason. And also, well, we're going to talk about Christmas traditions in Latin America. In particular, we're going to talk a little bit about Chile. So, well, we have three extraordinary guests tonight with us. We have Olaya, that she's from Chile, and she's going to talk about this Christmas tradition. Also, we're going to have Boris, well, the Minister of Tourism from El Salvador. She's going to give us she sent us a video, so well, she's going to send us a message. Also, Boris, who is going to talk about El Salvador, and we're going to have Miguel, that he's going to talk about Rum La Hechicera. But before we start the show, and I will tell you what is going to happen in the following weeks, let me say hello. Tonight, they are not mis amigos. Tonight is only mi amiga, Whitney Nuchereno. Hello, Whitney.
Hola. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be really brief because we have a lot to cover in our interviews, but I'm really excited about tonight's episode, and stay tuned to learn more about these topics, and particularly in Spanish, because I'm going to dedicate my segment to tourism, slang, and rum. We didn't have time for surfing, but if you do want to learn some Spanish terms on surfing, I did so in our Nicaraguan episode, and I will do so again in the future. So you can always check that out too if you're keen.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Whitney. And well, of course, I would like to say hello to everybody who is joining us to the program. And well, I know Advijit, I know that we have some viewers there. Okay, Advijit is saying that, well, Hechicera Tiempo. Yes, of course, we are going to have Rum Hechicera here. Also, we have Nahida, I think so. We have Gary Dancy, who is saying, hola desde Londres. So, well, thank you very much. And please let us know, put a comment there, like saying at least, hey, hello, I'm here, I'm based in the UK, or you're in Colombia, or you're in Chile, or in the United States, wherever you are, let us know where are you from, or where are you located, and also just to say hi. And let me tell you what is gonna happen in the following weeks. Of course, tonight we're gonna have Rum Hechicera, and we have one prize for you, for the audience tonight, who they are based in the UK. People who they are based in the UK, tonight you're gonna have the opportunity to win a Mexican piñata. That is a particular tradition in this season, in Christmas season. So, well, it's like you are gonna be one of the winners of this piñata. So, well, I would like to say thank you very much to our friends from Sputnik, Piñatas Aztec Sputnik, that, well, they are located in Manchester. Thank you very much. To my friend Ana Hurtado. So, well, it's we're going to have this prize for all of you. So pay attention to the show. And at the end, you will know, as always, a little quiz in order that you know exactly how you can win this piñata. And of course, you can have it for this Christmas season. But before we start the show, I would like to tell you what is going to happen this week. This month. This month, we have prepared amazing shows for you. If you have the opportunity to watch, or well, to go to the Latin America page on Facebook, you will have the opportunity to see the events. We have three spectacular shows prepared for you. The first one is going to be next Tuesday, that is going to be the 22nd of December. And we're going to talk about Christmas traditions. So we're going to talk about Christmas traditions in Mexico, in Colombia, in Paraguay, and in Cuba. So we are having amazing guests that they are coming. We're going to talk a little bit also about Mexico City in this season. But the prices that we have for you, we have, for example, cocktails. We have, actually, I haven't updated this list that I have here, but well, we're gonna have a cocktail virtual session. We're gonna have also prices like a book that is No Excuses by Isabella Catapano. We're gonna have a dinner for two that is courtesy of Bar Bolivar here in London, in Canary Wharf. We're gonna have a 100 pounds voucher for a dental or beauty treatment, courtesy of Glenda Cardoso. We're gonna have 3 bronze pins, jewels from Ponte Mosca jewelry. So, well, the cost of this one is like 90 pounds, something like that. And we're gonna have a Colombian rum. For the 29th, that is gonna be the second one, we're going to celebrate New Year in a very Latin way, with the Latin spirit. So, well, also we're gonna have a Pilates virtual session for prize, as a prize, that is courtesy for Susana Ceballos from My Pilates Practice. We're gonna have a 30 pounds tasting virtual session, courtesy of Pacari. A 40-pound voucher dinner for 2 people, courtesy of Arepa & Co. And also a 30 pounds a wool scarf, courtesy of Jenny Rodriguez, that is Taller a Mano. And also prices that we have the 5th of January also, because the 5th of January we celebrate the Wisman to Belen, that, well, of course, well, it's one of the traditions that we're going to talk with all of you that day. But also we're gonna have a 50-pound voucher for Red Christmas hamper, courtesy of Wellbeing Designer, London. We're gonna have a 25 e-gift voucher chocolate, courtesy of Pacari. And we're gonna have 20 pounds earrings, courtesy of Papaxoa. There are 2 pairs of earrings. And also a book of procrastination, courtesy of Nieves Rodriguez. But this is not only they are not the only prices that we have for you. We have accommodation in different parts of the world. So you're gonna have the possibility to be in Los Cabos for 5 days in 2 fantastic hotels, and it's only one price. You're gonna be in 2 different hotels in Los Cabos, Mexico. So if you are planning to travel, this is gonna be a paradise that you are going to enjoy there in one boutique hotel and in another hotel. You will know which hotels we have it. Actually, in the event section, they are already there. And also we're gonna have prices that, well, you can go to Cartagena in Colombia. So we're gonna have some nights there that you can spend a fantastic time there. And also we have some accommodation in Argentina. So, well, you will have the opportunity to travel around the world. These prices, they are applicable for people that they are all around the world. So don't worry if you are watching us in the US or in Germany or in Asia or wherever you are, you have the possibility to travel. So, well, it's like all of these prices, they are for you. So it's very simple to participate because, well, that is going to be prices for the audience that they are watching the program online. So, well, I'm just going to ask you something important. Sometimes we would like to change the world. And we're saying that, well, sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes I have to subscribe to an organization, to support any cause, etc. Here is very simple. And it's very simple because, well, if you share this video, you are helping a lot of people, not only in Latin America. And we have to think like, we have to see the big picture. If we're supporting all these people that they are providing us, all these prices and accommodation, and maybe you're going to travel, you're generating jobs. You are supporting all the people in Latin America, yes. However, all the Latin American countries consume a lot of different products coming from the rest of the world. So this is like a virtual cycle that we are going to have. Sorry, a virtual cycle that we're going to have in order that, well, we can support each other. We're in difficult times. We need the support of all of you. It's very easy. You don't have to donate money. You don't have to do anything here. The only thing that we're asking you is one like and share the video. And that's really easy. And it's something that, honestly, we would like that you help us with that part, because we are promoting Latin America with our love, but also entrepreneurs people that they are linked with Latin America. And also in the following shows, we're going to have people that some of them, they are not from Latin America, they are from the UK, but they are linked with Latin America. And of course, we would like to support them. So in these difficult times, please help us, help each other. We need all of us. We need our support. We need to support each other. So please, it's very easy. Just give a like. So, well, it's like, and one of the things that I just want to tell you is that, well, tonight, Royal Alarcon is not with us. So I'm going to multitask with different videos and things that I have here and there. So it's like, apologize if you see that suddenly I'm just watching the other computer that I have here, but it's because, well, as I said before, we're going to talk and we're going to start with our first topic, that is going to be El Salvador. So let me move to my other laptop. And what? Sorry, Whitney, we go with you.
Yes, we're going with me.
Sorry, I'm just jumping. Sorry. Let's go. Go to El Salvador. Sorry, Whitney.
Guys, this is why we have 3 people. It takes the work of 3 people to get this stuff done. So Enrique searches for everything for the next multitasking thing. I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time. Lately, we've been divvying my segments in half. And I think that's what got us a little bit confused. But I'm just going to do a really quick introduction and talk about different types of tourism. And we've talked about tourism in a couple of our shows. We've had some really great guests, Minister of Tourism. I know for Brazil, we had the president of tourism for Sao Paulo. So I just want to talk about a few of these for a range, and you'll see why in a minute. So again, there's many types of tourism. Here are some of the ones that I think are a little bit more common. So we have ecoturismo, which is ecotourism, and we've seen this many times in episodes. And for those of you who are interested in visiting natural environments and observing the exotic species, this kind of tourism is for you. So many consider ecotourism as responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. And in fact, many places depend on ecotourism to sustain these natural beauties. And hopefully when the pandemic is over, we're all inspired to see some of the lush lands of Latin America. And also there's another form of tourism that has to do with nature, which is, and we're going to address this tonight, is turismo de aventura, which, as you can guess, is adventure tourism, as many people can enjoy nature but with some added adventure, such as, whitewater rafting, zip lining, hiking, scuba diving, skydiving, parasailing, totally recommend that, or surfing. So that's one. And then we also have something that I'm sure a lot of us do whenever we take a trip to a foreign land, and this is el turismo cultural, cultural tourism. And this is when the visitor's essential motivation is when you want to learn, discover, experience, and consume the tangible and intangible cultural attractions and products in a tourist destination. So these attractions relate to a set of distinctive material, something that's intellectual, emotional, that features a society that encompasses a wide range of things, such as art and architecture, historical and cultural heritage, culinary heritage, which we'll get to in a minute, literature, music, creative industries, and the living cultures within their lifestyles, value system, beliefs, and traditions, which is the theme of this month. So although el turismo gastronómico is part of turismo cultural, I figured that this one deserved its own category. El turismo gastronómico, which is gastronomy tourism, is for those interested in getting to know a place via some of the most traditional and best cuisine that a place has to offer. This can range from cooking classes to wine, beer, spirits tasting, such as rum, food tours, festivals, and specialty dining experiences. And that can include, like, if you're in a restaurant, some restaurants actually offer a gastronomy like menu. And then this is also a great way to see a city, as many food tours will take you all over a city, particularly by foot. And I've taken some of these tours myself. And I love how you get to bounce from one restaurant to another, walk across the city, and get a taste of the city paired with its incredible foods. And this is one of the best ways, like I said, to visit a city because you get to walk around, they take you to some of the best spots for certain dishes, and then you can always revisit them later. And then last but not least, we have El Turismo de Bienestar. And this is, El Bienestar means well-being. So this is well-being tourism. So what's well-being tourism? Well, one can define it as wellness tourism, as travel associated with the pursuit of maintaining or receiving treatments, like going to a spa or focusing on their health and well-being. I think the closest thing I can compare it to in the UK is like a Japanese kind of like getaway. And a lot of people are advocates of self-care, particularly during this pandemic, because that's something that we obviously have to pay more attention to now more than ever. And in this case, it could include traveling to exotic places to achieve just that. So now the big question is, before we get into our next guest, is ¿Qué turismo prefieres tú? Put it in the comment. Which one do you prefer and why? You can put any of these words, and this will give not just me a better idea of what tourism vocabulary to teach during future segments, but also us as the team on what kind of tourism you want us to focus on future episodes. So I'll go through the comments with you for just that part during my second segment later on this evening. Okay, back to you, Enrique. And I'll keep this up for a minute so you can see. Throw it in the comments and yeah, I'll let you know.
Excellent, Whitney. So, well, it's like, yeah, and apologies because well,
no worries.
I need my post-production guy who is helping me while I'm doing other stuff as well. It's like,
right.
Well, so now let's go to just to know a little bit about El Salvador, and we will start with this amazing video we have from them.
You're on mute, Enrique.
I know. You know what? I was on mute. I was trying to click there when it was like trying to mute, but it was like not letting me put. And well, it was like as I was giving double click, I was on mute and mute again.
You
so it was like
that about Roger. You jinxed it now.
I miss him. Where is Roger? Well, before we start, with this show, not with this show, with this talking about El Salvador, as I told you before, we have a message from the Minister of Tourism. So she is Morena Valdez, and I think so. We have our friend Frida de Garcia, that she is going to support us with the doubling, because the video is in Spanish, but she's going to support us doubling the video. So I hope so. Frida is okay. Frida is okay with that. So let's go to the video then. So let me go to the video.
Hola, soy Morena Valdez.
Hello, I am Morena Valdez, Minister of Tourism of El Salvador. A very affectionate and warm greeting from the great emblematic program that we have here in El Salvador called Third City El Salvador. As you can see, we're walking along the beach to verify that the biosecurity protocols that we have installed in our country are being followed. We have recently been awarded a safe destination seal. What does this mean? Well, it means that our country, El Salvador, is ready to receive you. It is important to remember that we're still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the tourism sector to continue promoting biosecurity protocols to position all our destinations as biosecure.
So, well, thank you very much, Frida. And well, she is the Minister of Tourism from El Salvador. And well, have you seen how amazing is this country? So maybe you didn't have any idea about how exciting could be a country that, well, sometimes we're not talking a lot about them, and we should. So, well, you have seen that, well, you can do a lot of sports. They have amazing food. They have a particular location that it's really, well, it's a very, they are in Central America. And apologies that I don't have the complete presentation because, well, I just want, after I watched that video is much better than the presentation that normally I do about the country. But well, I would like to say hello to Boris Iraheta, who is with us tonight. Hello, Boris, how are you?
Hi, Enrique. Hi, Whitney. How are you? How's London?
Almost
Cold yet?
down.
All good, thank you very much. And well, we would like to start. And well, first of all, thank you very much, Boris, for being here. Thank you for the message from the minister. And I would like to start asking that question. It's like, she's saying it's a safe country, El Salvador, in this pandemic. What does that mean? How you guys got it?
Well, I think that this came out of a very interesting step taken at the beginning of the pandemic, when in March we decided to close our borders in order to protect our population. So this was becoming something global. We closed our borders at the same time as they were closed in Europe, more or less. And I think that that contributed to the controlling of the pandemic, that avoided community contact, and it also helped the cases that were in the country were controlled. That, along with the management from that point on, following the controls, following the nexi, has led us to be one of the countries with the least amount of cases in the region.
Well, that's a fantastic thing that, well, actually, I think so. It's like, it's really good that, well, they close everything in order to protect the people. So I think so that's really good that nowadays, well, you don't have the issues that in some countries we are facing. But anyway, I would like that, well, if you can tell us a little bit about El Salvador, but in general. So a general scope.
Yes, of course. Well, you can see behind me these amazing waves that we have in our shores. We are a country in Central America, the smallest country in Central America, in fact, and we have 300 kilometers of coast. And we have found out that one of the things that differentiates us is the waves. We are a country that has global connectivity. You can travel from the UK, for example, with a short stopover in the United States. And we are a country that, as a gateway, we have our beautiful beaches, but you can also go into the rest of the country and you can see our volcanoes, our lakes. We have a volcano range. We have interesting gastronomy. Our pupusas are our most famous dish in the country. You have to try it. And especially, we have human warmth that makes people fall in love with our country. One thing that I was forgetting that's very important is that we have one of the areas in the Mayan world with Mayan ruins that is very important on a global scale. It's not only a ceremonial center, but it was an actual city. And Hechicera has been declared World Heritage Site by UNESCO. It is called the Pompeii of America.
So, well, you were telling us a little bit about the different activities because, well, I think so they are archaeological places. As you were talking about Mayans, of course, it has some small towns and cities that, well, it could be like, you have the also, I think so it's San Pedro Sula, right? That San Pedro Sula is more like the financial capital, and San Salvador is more like the government capital, right?
No, because that's what.
Oh my God!
No, they had confused us with San Salvador, Bahamas, and also Salvador Bahia in Brazil, but with Honduras very few times. Well, Honduras is actually very close, 8 hours away, more or less. And what it takes for you to go from London to Liverpool, maybe. But no, our capital city is San Salvador. We have other interesting cities, but we also have different areas where the financial, the business capital and the cultural capital of El Salvador is San Salvador. But we also have very culturally interesting cities like Santa Ana in the western part of the country, or the capital of carnivals in Central America, which is San Miguel in the eastern part of the country, that you are most cordially invited to, of course.
Normally, that season of carnivals, I think, so is around February, right? It could change a little bit, but well, it's more because of the Easter season that is changing. But normally, it's in February.
Normally, it's in November.
The carnival. It's another carnival.
That carnival is in November. Yes.
Ah, I thought that it was the kind of carnival. Oh my God, I'm completely out tonight. So like,
you didn't read our brief. I don't think.
Well,
you didn't read the brief.
Where is Roger? Where is Roger? Okay, but well, so you have a car. Okay, well, that's good. So let's go to that question because, well, what is that carnival about? Because, well, normally when we're talking about carnivals in Latin America, we're talking about these carnivals that they are in February and they are more related with Easter. What is this carnival about?
It's a carnival that takes place in the city of San Miguel. It is the largest carnival in Central America, and it is celebrated in honor of the patron saint of the city. The carnival starts with smaller parties or carnivals in different parts of the city, in different neighborhoods in the city, and it starts in November and it ends in the last week of November with a large carnival that encompasses the whole city with food, fireworks, parades, allegoric cars. You have to come, you have to see it. And that you can run away from the autumnal cold of the United Kingdom.
Okay, and you were talking about gastronomy. You talk about pupusas, and I think so in the video we have one spot there where we saw the pupusas. Can you tell us what is the pupusas for people that they are watching us, because maybe they don't know what it's that?
Okay. Pupusas are they are made out of corn flour, corn dough, and they are made into patties that are filled with cheese or pork or beans. That is made into a patty by hand, and then you cook it. It's basically a filled corn tortilla. The ideal way to eat a pupusa is it has to be made out of corn, and it has to be cooked on a comal, which is a traditional instrument to cook on a wooden oven. You can see it there.
Yeah.
And what's spectacular is not just eating the pupusa itself, but to see the spectacle of them being cooked. The idea is to seduce your senses.
Oh.
Well, actually, yeah, they are like, I have had the opportunity to try it, and it's really, really good. And yeah, I remember perfectly. And I'm not combining countries now. I remember that once. Okay, so yes, I'm not going to say something silly. No, but
Okay.
actually, yeah, it's really nice. And it's like, well, what are the kind of gastronomy? Because, well, you were telling us that, well, you have a big coast, and also we have seen that, well, is seafood is really important also for El Salvador.
Yes, the seafood are very important in our gastronomy. One of the main reasons why many of our neighbors cross the border is to come and spend a day at the beach and be able to enjoy our local seafood. We are very close to Guatemala, is one of our neighbors, and many of them come here over the weekend exclusively to go to the beach and have some seafood. So that is another one of our specialties.
And you were talking, and I'm going to move a little bit about another topic, because, well, you were talking about volcanoes and the different landscapes that also people that can admire there. Is there any particular season that you would recommend people to go and to visit El Salvador? Because it could be traditions, or maybe because the weather is the best season to be there.
Yes, the recommendation is that you visit it from November to May, because that's our dry season, meaning there's no rain. However, you can visit us throughout the year, because the best waves can be found from April to November. So it really depends on what you want to do. If you want to ride great waves, then you should come down from May to November. If you want to enjoy our traditions and have clear skies, go and visit the volcanoes, go to Antiguo Cuscatlán, small town close to San Salvador, where they have very interesting celebrations at the end of the year. So ideally, you should come from November to May. But really, we have a year-round offer. We have good weather throughout the year. Our average temperature is 27 to 30 degrees Celsius, maybe a little lower from November to February. It can get down to 23 degrees Celsius, but our weather is quite spectacular. the best of all is that we are a country of great distances, meaning we are a small country that you can see in 1 week from tip to tip. You can you can wake up at the beach and have breakfast at the lake, see a sunset at the mountain, and the next day go to a colonial town or Mayan ruin like Gerente. So the whole year is good to visit.
So, well, it's just repeating it, like if there's for traditions and something that people, they would like to be there, to be the dry season that is between November to May. But of course, if you want to enjoy the waves, that is going to be between May to November, right?
Yes, right.
And talking about the waves and everything, I know that you had last week an important event there. Can you tell us, because, well, we watched that video and it says the Surf City. So can you tell us a little bit
Surf City.
more about?
Yes, of course. A Surf City is our main product in terms of tourism that we're offering to for visitors, and it's basically based on promoting our differentiating value, which are the waves. As I said before, we are a country with 300 kilometers of coast, and we are probably one of the countries with the most amount of waves per kilometer of coast that are also constant and water with good temperature. So just like other destinations around the world that offer a product focused on sun and beach, but particularly surfing tourism, like California or Paris in France, and then also Peru. So we are offering that we compete on a global level in this niche. So that's what we're offering right now. Surf City. Surf City is the gateway to the rest of tourism destinations that we have to offer. It is our invitation, our calling card. And along with that, last week, we had the first championship, Latin American championship, after the confinement due to COVID-19. And we had over 16 countries represented, 100 surfers competing, and it was a biosafe tournament because it wasn't open to the public. What we did was have an online broadcast that was broadcast by specialized websites in the United States, Spain, South America, and the signal of origin was from El Salvador. And through TV, you could see it on TV in the United States. So we are betting on showing our country what we're building in terms of tourism destinations, so that more people can visit us and we can change the neutral or negative perception that people might have, and because we know we've had it, and get to a perception of a tourism destination that is being developed as a place to visit, or a place to live in, or a place to invest in.
And one question: do you surf? Are you the guy in the background? That one is you. That one, right?
Almost.
Well, yeah, that's really good. And also, well, I have just a couple of commentaries here. Like people, they are saying, and I completely agree with them, because, well, for example, Garen she's commenting, looks spectacular and so much variety for a small country. And later on, our friend Polo Sanchez, he's saying, I love El Salvador, a true hidden gem for tourism. And I think so. He's very accurate, the things that he's saying, because, well, it's like, I think El Salvador has a lot of things that, well, for a small country, it's like everything concentrated there. Good food, good weather, nice people. Of course, we're not going to talk about football. Yeah. But yeah, because I'm from Mexico, so I know that there are like a lot of rivalities there. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes.
But,
we can talk about Vicente Fernandez.
Okay, perfect. So well, no, but well, it's, I think so in general, it's like all the different activities that El Salvador is offering for people that they would like to travel there, and maybe also if they don't have a lot of time, as you were saying, 1 week is going to be enough. Of course, there's no never enough. It depends on different activities, because if you want to serve maybe 7 days, well, it's going to be difficult to go to the other places. However, I think El Salvador offers in 1 week that you can visit different things to see. The commuting, it's very easy between different cities, and also you will have the complete experience, and also enjoying not only the weather, the food, etc. So it's, I think so it's like a good opportunity for our people that, well, for people around the world that they are watching us, that, well, they consider El Salvador in the list of countries that they should visit, and they will have a very good experience there.
I know, and I have to add
on the bucket list.
Yeah, and I have to add it too, because when I was talking about surf, I was talking about Nicaragua, but now I think I'm gonna have to do a whole new segment on just, you know, like El Salvador surf.
Yes. In fact, what we want is to show the world that we have one of the best backdrops for the sport. We know that also in the UK, in northern Germany, northern France, Spain, there are many tourists that enjoy the waves, and what we want is to invite you or invite them. And if you are close by, maybe Costa Rica, Nicaragua, you can drop by and get to know what we have to offer here in El Salvador.
Yeah,
and also it's like, as we were saying, like people that they are interested, for example, in culture, they can go and they can visit all the major streams that you have there. Also colonial cities that you have, but also they have exciting activities as going and trekking with the, well, across the volcanoes, and also going and to make some sports, water sports.
And also I want to add too, as someone who's like been to some of these surf destinations in Europe that are so well known, the water and the weather is so cold most of the year that it's like they're only hardcore surfers out there. So guys, if you want to surf, why not go to El Salvador? Because you're going to have much better weather. You're going to get all this great turismo. So I think this just sold itself.
Yes, of course.
Sorry,
Yes,
Boris.
in fact,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's important. The weather is important because you can see that surfers are not using a wetsuit because the water is basically warm.
Yeah, exactly. As where in Europe you see pure wetsuits, even sometimes in the summer. So I think it's just a good observation to make to promote even more visiting your beautiful country, amongst all the other many reasons you've given us tonight. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, you are invited whenever you want.
Done.
Please just drop me a line, and Whitney, Enrique, we'll be waiting for you here.
Thank you very much.
It is a formal invitation.
Okay, perfect. I will. Don't worry, it's recorded. It's recorded anyway. So well, I will take it like that. And yeah, but I don't want to show off my skills in surfing and everything. Like, guys, later on you're going to ask me to bring a video or something.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I think that needs to happen. If we are invited, I think we need a video of Enrique surfing. I'll videotape it. I will stand back and sacrifice. And
don't worry, we have green screens and we can do whatever we want. So no problem with that. So yeah. Boris, is there any website that people they can look for or they can search more information about El Salvador in general and also for the part of Surf City?
Yes, the site is elsalvador.travel. elsalvador.travel.
Okay, perfect. So, well, it's very easy.
You go in and you'll find all the information, destinations, immigration requirements, if you need a visa, if you don't. Now with the issue of the epidemic, if you need a PCR test, and everything that we have to offer in terms of tourism, not only our beaches, but as I said before, volcanoes, lakes, archaeological sites, everything is there. elsalvador.travel.
Excellent. Yeah. And well, actually, I have a commentary here that from Gary that, well, talking about your topic, Whitney, she's saying the water isn't warm in Cornwall. Yes,
I
of
already
course.
replied to
So.
this.
Yeah. So I think so. It's not like that. So Boris, thank you very much for being here. As you know, well, you can stay here the rest of the show, so you don't have to go. So I think so. Whitney, over to you.
Yes, I'm going to present our next guest, which is Olaya Sanfuentes, who is an associate professor in the history department of Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile. She received her PhD in art history from, oh gosh, my Catalan, Universitat Autónoma of Barcelona. And although her focus is on religion, she has also researched thoroughly Chilean Christmas traditions during the last 2 centuries. One of the specific topics that Olaya has researched is the tradition of giving gifts and its impacts, which is one of the many themes that we'll explore tonight. And lucky for us, she has agreed to share her vast knowledge about this topic with us. So welcome, Olaya. And over to you.
Are you listening to me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Yes.
I think that I will need to use my telephone because it's not working that well. Wait a minute, please.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, yeah. No worries.
So, well, we have some commentaries, by the way, that while they are talking about what kind of tourism, I'm not going to read them because if I read them, you are going to complain and you're going to tell me that I shouldn't. And I know that, well, you're going to say, no. I don't know if I can read them or not.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm ready now.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, well, you will read them later with me.
This is part of the Chilean problem. We don't have good connection here. So we're very far away from you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Whitney. Thank you, Enrique. And I want to also thank Margarita Garrido, who is a Colombian historian who recommended me, and also Yvonne, who was the one who connected me. And I would like to share a short presentation I prepared for you. I will going to read, but don't worry, I'm going to be accompanied by beautiful pictures. And then if you want, we can have a little conversation. Mm-hmm. Great. So here is my PowerPoint, and I will start reading. To some degree, nativity scenes are the representation in miniature of a society at a given moment, embracing the belief that the most humble individuals participated in Jesus' birth with their presence and their gifts alongside the wisest. Christians of every era have wished to display their own participation and contribution to this foundational Christian event. This presentation will describe the ways in which a traditional, rural-inspired society like that of Santiago, Chile, at the end of the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century, expressed itself in nativity scenes. Foreigners passing through Chile who left visual and literary records also shed light on aspects related to its population. All elements come together in the nativity scene, making it a visual representation of society of the time. I'm positive, anyway, about the fact that many Latin Americans will feel represented in what follows. The nativity or manger scene is a three-dimensional representation of Jesus' birth in Bethlehem in a barn, or more precisely, in a manger. Early Christians, Early Christians emphasized Christ's mighty and victorious characteristic. In those early days, Christ needed to be shown as a victorious figure of this new religion. these being centuries of heresies and other obstacles for Christianity and the Christian Church. With time, the Church as an institution was seen as a distant one, so new strategies had to be found to make people feel closer to it. In the 13th century, St. Francis of Assisi had a special fondness for the topic of the incarnation of Christ, which was difficult to explain with words. He wanted to promote devotion through emotional elements in order to make people experience this critical event for Christianity. Inspired by this interest, Saint Francis revealed aspects of Christ that went beyond the victorious and powerful. He focused on Christ the child, emphasizing his humanity and humility, someone who the Gospels describe as worshipped by shepherds and the poor. This late medieval shift in Christocentric devotion invited the faithful of all walks of life to participate in commemorating Jesus' birth. St. Francis inaugurated the tradition of reenacting the events of Christ's birth as a devotional practice in towns. Live presentation of the Nativity allowed those who could not read to celebrate and learn. Actors, accompanied by shepherds and their animals, brought Jesus, Mary, and Joseph to life in strong nativity scenes for affectionate, popular celebration of Jesus' birth. St. Francis' teaching quickly spread throughout. In response, depiction of Christ's birth also emerged in the visual arts, particularly painting and sculpture. This European iconography came to Hispanic America with Hispanic conquest and evangelization. The Gospel and apocryphal accounts offer evocative description of the other actors who shared nativity scenes alongside the Holy Family. Although the canonical Gospel, Luke and Matthew, describe only the three main figures, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, as well as the shepherds and wise men, the apocryphal narrative include cows and donkeys. These Gospels were the product of oral traditions circulating among the first generations of Christians, but more extensive and fanciful folk narrative of Christ's birth also developed in various Christian regions. Different cultures appropriated the biblical story and made it their own through the incorporation of idiosyncratic elements that have accrued over time and often represent anachronism to the actual biblical period. European examples of this type are varied and artistically valuable. Some of them, like Salzillo, Joaquín Machado de Castro, and Antonio Ferreira, are even famous. Napolitan nativity scenes are similarly recognized globally. These European examples are the result of the spectacular 18th century development of the nativity scene in the arts. The variety of characters to be found in these nativity scenes is almost infinite. Standing before these works of art at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, or in Spanish and Italian convents during Christian's time, for example, one can spend hours observing all of the scene's details. The Christmas nativity scenes made in 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century Santiago, Chile, for which there is records, are of the more popular type. The word popular is used to name those creches which were catalogued as such since they were anonymous, not associated to any particular family. The latter were named for their owners, and almost all the figures were made in Quito. On the contrary, in popular nativity scenes, miniatures of different material, origins and size lived together. There were also some nativity sets which combined valuable wood carvings of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus imported from Quito with more folk-style local craftwork. One nativity crib could have consisted of the three characters of the Holy Family, bigger in size than the surrounding objects. These were usually little clay statuettes, wood-made stalls and carts, miniature of straw baskets, all made by local artisans. They also had with spikes, seashells, silken flowers, and filigree adornments made in the 18th and 19th centuries. The eclectic quality that results from the combination of figures from different eras in the manga scenes and the diversity of people interacting with them over time guarantees the meaning and relevance of the genre and grants it a capacity for constant growth and change. Anyone can approach this space and participate with their personal gift and talent in his own crash. Participating in the preparation of a nativity scene allows everyone to be part of the divine mystery. The world presented in miniature by the nativity scene is a historic image, a historical depiction of people imagining their own participation. People represent themselves as part of a contemporary nativity scene. The belief of many in the historicity of the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem allows the practices of bestowing historicity on the complex to continue and to project into the future. Since every person from any era can depict himself and his environment and enter the scenery of the nativity, the possibility of being part of this event is ongoing. The spectator becomes convinced that this story could occur in his or her own time and that he or she has the opportunity to participate. Society puts itself on stage. 19th and early 20th century nativity scenes from Santiago reveal the values of rural Chile, both in terms of the scene on which they are staged and the personality they contain. Many items present in these scenes are taken from the countryside and appeared as miniature of different materials: wooden stirrups, straw basket full of fruits and flowers, terracotta animals such as pigs, cows, and donkeys, and real wheat spikes. In this picture of a creche from the beginning of the 20th century, we can observe a space crammed with diverse objects which conform a Chilean picture. In the foreground, we see collected here, for example, collected seashells that have been displayed along with a straw basket here, a wooden barrel here, leaves and stones, and a clay miniature of a woman here eating bread among other objects. A little guaso here, seated on a wicker chair close to a table with a white tablecloth, calls our attention. Then we see some ceramics from Quinchamalí here, for example, the denomination of origin for a type of ceramic which has been traditionally manufactured in a little town with that name. It is characterized for being black with white designs. The black color is obtained putting the earth directly into fire. In the background, a pair of oxen and a farmer here are crossing a bridge made of little sticks. Cardboard here is used to make a mountain, a form which, after looking at other visual and literary representation, was popular in Chile in order to contextualize it within the biblical event. As can be observed, a rural imaginary is the one which prevails in this composition made in Santiago. Although Santiago supposedly transformed in the last years of the 19th century into a more modern and urban society, the rural continued to predominate in cultural production and representations. Period visual imagery containing photography, painting, drawings, and ceramics, as well as the literary imaginary embodied in poems and popular songs, are fed by characteristics of rural Chile, which leave their mark on the country's cultural manifestation, including in urban settings. Rural identity predominated in the imaginaries of Santiago citizens. The first sign of this rurality can be appreciated in the presence of certain rural character types in all the era's nativity scene. As I told you, here we have the guaso. The guaso was the typical character of Chilean Central Valley, and he was depicted both with agricultural and dealing with cattle. His essential clothes consisted of a hat with a round rim and called chupallas. These were traditionally black, but also could be light color when they were made of straw. He also wore knee-high leather boots with spurs at the heels, a short jacket, and a poncho covering the jacket. The guaso is also ubiquitous in other artistic media, alerting us to his pervading presence in contemporary reality and imagery. Surviving guaso figurines attest to their use in nativity scene of the era, as do references to the presence of guasos in nativity scenes in Chilean popular poetry and press excerpts. A poem like the following, made to be recited in front of a nativity scene, places the guaso in the role of a visitor to the manger, bringing gifts for the Christ child and his parents. And let me read it. A wagon of fruit I bring to you, said the guaso, to you, Doña Maria, to neutralize the grease. Pears, figs, and cherries Mr. Mocoso has sent, so that you might take them and share them with your husband. Finally, I bring you diapers, clothing, and a hat to bundle up as soon as possible. This popular Chilean archetype also appears in two-dimensional representation of the nativity scene, as you can see here. At the middle of the 20th century, artists began painting a world that was slowly disappearing. The 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, when the rural environment was still alive in Santiago. When some group of the 40s were experiencing nostalgia for a traditional and rural life of the century before, they used the guaso as a tool for depicting this lost world. These groups were searching their own version of authenticity, which was seen related with the rural world, its artifacts, its character, and traditions. The work of painter Arturo Gordon is particularly representative of this trend. In one of his paintings, a group of women and children appears praying the Christmas novena, or 9-day prayer cycle, in front of a nativity scene. You can see here the nativity scene, which, similar to contemporary express description, perches atop a mountain made of cardboard and other domestic items. The main biblical characters are present. Behind them, a group of guaso here. On horseback, arrives to make offerings to the newborn baby. Photographs of major scenes from the earliest moment of the 20th century show guaso figures engaged in a variety of activities. These photographs, along with written sources, paintings, prints, and surviving guaso miniatures, confirm guaso's important role in 19th century popular imagery. Clay guaso miniatures were sold at La Alameda, a central avenue surrounded by popular trees that was converted into a boulevard at the beginning of the Republican period. It crossed the entire city from west to east and was used for public promenades and festivities, such as Christmas time, when vendors set up stalls to sell Christmas wares to the public. Some of these stands sold flowers, fruit, and other comestibles, and clay figures depicting popular characters. It is interesting to stop and appreciate these pictures. In this figure, for example, we see what we think is a family posing in front of the camera. They are formally dressed, adult men wearing hats, and the boy donning a white garment. The youngest lady's head is covered, as ladies used to go in the public space, following the decency and decorum rules of that epoch. The family is showing the table that they have settled and then spread with a white tablecloth. The little figures they sell are put on the table in a scenographic way, using different floors in order to help the spectator client view them all. Looking from top to bottom, we see first musical instruments here that were sold to children to make noise on the streets. Then we appreciate a floor with a bull or a cow, with other followed by another with a dog and a group of guasito riding horses. There are more floors with other animals and more guasitos. A wicker basket here filled with percussion instruments called matracas is on a straw chair. Children use these popular instruments to run through the streets making noises during Christmas time. The election of some professional of registering the old-fashioned way to celebrate Christmas can be appreciated in this unique early 20th century photograph. Manuel Dominguez's photograph, who is the author of this, offers a record of Santiago street life during the Christmas season. His images of La Alameda show it lined with stands selling flowers, fruit, and fried food, as well as the mentioned figures. One 19th century photograph by Dominguez shows a fruit vendor and his stand surrounded by rural items. Here are the fruits and some other items. Chilean artists were not alone in focusing on vernacular characters. Foreign artists who settled in Chile or came to visit also left documentation of their impressions in the form of paintings and drawing. One example is German painter Johann Moritz Ruchenda, who depicted many characters and themes from Chilean identity over the course of his prolific career as a visual artist. Popular Chilean figures, particularly the Guaso, appear frequently in his work. Rugendas came to South America and also to Mexico to capture typical landscape scenes and popular characters and customs of the newborn Latin American republics. As with many other artists of his time, Rugendas initially came to South America as part of a scientific expedition. He accompanied Baron George Heinrich von Langdorf to Brazil and then proceeded to travel by himself throughout South America, depicting its geography and characters. He liked Chile so much that he spent many years traversing the territory and working on prints, drawings, and canvases depicting its idiosyncrasies. Rugendas painted this work that you have in front of you, El Guaso y la Lavandera, which became so famous in Chile that is considered to be part of the Chilean national imaginary, even appearing as part of school textbooks. Let me finish with some final reflections. Santiago's late 19th century and beginnings of the 20th population prepared nativity scenes for Christmas that represented their own world, a miniaturization of their surroundings, their imagery, and resourcefulness used in service of their faith. In this way, every year residents of Santiago celebrated the most important event of the Christian calendar, the birth of Christ as a historic event. As modernization arose and developed in Santiago de Chile, the wealthy began to purchase nativity scenes in the new stores that had opened in the capital, moving away from the popular nativity scenes that characterized the taste of society as a whole during the colonial period and early Republican years. These new nativity scenes, imported from Europe, brought European characters with them to worship the baby Jesus, such as soldiers with German flags or a little Napoleon. In 1897, the newspaper El Pueblo even described figures brought from Rome and designed by an Italian artist. Nothing could be more distant from the Guasos. Furthermore, some elegant and fancy families began copying North American and European traditions, being the most visible the arriving of the Christmas trees to the homes of the rich. At the beginning of the last century, different ways of celebrating lived along in Santiago de Chile. After this short speech, I wonder how this tradition developed in other Latin American countries. Does anybody want to share with us? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olaya. That was very, very interesting. And if you'd like to stay on to keep viewing, and we can ask some questions in a minute, but we do have to put our next guest on because of a matter of time, if that's all right. To you, Enrique, you have to take yourself off mute.
Sorry, yeah. And actually, it's like, as you were saying, and I think so, like, it's very good with that. Well, it's like next week, as you said, how the different other countries, they are celebrating Christmas. And that is something that we're going to talk about next week, in order that, well, people, they know more about. Also, well, today we have the opportunity to know more about Chile and these particular trips and everything that you are, well, that they are doing there. But I think so, well, it's like people, they also will enjoy this part of the different parties that we have in Latin America, in Colombia, in Paraguay, in Mexico, etc. And I don't know what's happening with my camera, that it has lights there. But thank you very much. It has been very interesting. And well, of course, we appreciate your time that, well, being tonight with us and learning a little bit more about nativity in Brazil. In Chile. What's going on with me tonight? I don't know. I don't know.
Shall we introduce, just because I'm really worried about time, our next guest? Because
yes, but let's go first to a video, because, well, people that they will start drooling with this.
Should we wait for the video after?
Well, yeah, hold on. Let's it's just 1 second. So
okay, that's fine.
So well, you have had like just like a tease about what is our next guest that we will have. And let me see, why can I not see him? Where's Miguel? Hi, Miguel. Good evening. How are you doing?
This is Miguel right here. Enrique, how are you?
Hi, we're very, very well. How are you, Miguel? You are now in Bogota.
I'm actually in Bogota, Colombia. This is this is home. Mm-hmm. What's going on the other side of the world, Enrique? All good in London?
Oh yes, we're in tier 3 now, and we're in a lockdown. So yeah, it's fantastic. But well, we are healthy at least. Yeah. And
you know what the best thing
for
a lockdown is, Enrique? Yes. The best thing for a lockdown is to do it with rum. So hopefully you have a bottle of Colombia's finest rum at home with you to get you through these tough times.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think so with La Hechicera is a fantastic option that we have there. So, well, let's start talking a little bit about La Hechicera. And well, of course,
absolutely.
I know that, well, in the website, in the website of La Hechicera, you're talking about traveling around the Caribbean and, of course, finding the best raw spirits. And which part did you visit, and what sources did you get from there?
Well, look, I mean, the thing about this business, I mean, is it's really all about telling stories. It's about, sharing stories of diversity and variety and everything that is Latin America and the Caribbean. So in essence, I mean, from a brand perspective, I mean, Hechicera means the enchantress, and it's actually a celebration of Colombian identity. You know, this place of magical realism where kind of like fiction and reality intertwine in a certain sense. Now, Colombia is also the most biodiverse country in the world per square kilometer, which is why our branding and our website, which you were just mentioning, is really all about this natural exuberance, right? Now, to make good rum, you additionally need not only this conceptual variety, but rather you need some really good raw materials and a lot of like cultural variety to really enrich what we're after. And that's where raw materials come in. So in general terms, we actually travel constantly throughout Colombia, South America, the Caribbean, really just looking for the best sugarcane distillates that, you know, would eventually or could eventually, in the right conditions, blossom into Colombia's finest rum in Barranquilla, which is the largest coast. And those travels have taken me pretty much all over the place, Enrique. But it's really just you know, as part of a mission to get the best juice out there.
Yeah, and I actually have a question about the barrels themselves that you use to store the rum, because I was doing some like investigation on your website, which by the way is phenomenal. And I noticed that you have rum like stored in ex-bourbon barrels. So is there a particular, I'm a bourbon drinker, so I'm really curious myself. Is there a particular reason? And if so, what can your clients do? Should they expect to taste some hints of bourbon in the rum because of this?
Yes. Well, look, as he said, the rum is actually kind of like the inevitable historical results of just the Caribbean being a melting pot. You've got, you know, distillation, which is essentially, you know, Middle Eastern technology. You've got casks, which are, well, really the one vessel that was available for transporting liquid back and forth in these old ships during the time of the Spanish conquest, I suppose. You have the actual sugar cane, which is our, you know, quintessential raw material, which was actually originally, you know, brought by Christopher Columbus from the East Indies into the Caribbean in order to satisfy this European appetite for sugar as a big commodity. So ultimately, rum has always been the result of so many different things. Now, in more modern years or more recent times, you find that there's actually a very quirky and symbiotic relationship between what happens with the bourbon industry in the States and what happens in the Caribbean. So what happens is with bourbon, you can only use, you know, brand new American white oak casks, and you can only use those once. That's one of the rules for that essentially bourbon needs to meet so that it can be called bourbon. That said, in order to make great rum, you can't use fresh barrels because they'll just be too woody, too strong once you bring them down to the Caribbean. So you have, you know, the huge bourbon industry, which has to get rid of these really wonderful barrels that still have a lot to give. And at the same time, you have the rum industry that really just needs these cured, mellowed barrels that have been aging bourbon for a while. So it works beautifully. It's actually a common part of Hispanic style rum making. And if you are a bourbon drinker, Whitney, it's definitely something that you'll be able to taste in the final blend.
Oh, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I noticed that your rum, it's won so many awards over the past few years, and clearly it's highly regarded. I know when I bought it, it was the top shelf of the store. But what, aside from like what you just said, like what else do you think makes your rum unique and different? And maybe describe like the taste a little bit more, just so we can all get a sense of those rum lovers out there or people who don't know much about rum.
Absolutely. So look, Whitney, as you said, it is a very high regarded rum. However, it's a fairly new rum. It's kind of like the new kid on the block in a certain sense. Most of these, you know, big and established rum companies around the Caribbean have been around for hundreds of years. In reality, like you said, it was launched in the UK of all parts, and that was in 2012. So this had been aging in Barranquilla at our family facility for a while before eventually seeing the light of day and making it into a bottle of Hechicera. Now, in reality, it comes at a great time because I do believe that most other rums, Whitney, were becoming, slightly similar. They're kind of like sweet, slightly viscous, slightly sticky, for the most part meant to be enjoyed in cocktails. And, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a good cocktail. But we felt like the actual market would appreciate something slightly different. So what we're doing, which is different to other rums, is we are just making this from barrel to bottle. Essentially, it's got no additives, no sugar added, absolutely nothing that is not a natural result of the process. Now, the results is a fairly dry rum. It's almost more whiskey-like than rum-like in that respect. And ultimately, that just gives for great mixability, but it also allows you to enjoy this really mellow aged rum neat or on the rocks. So those are two things I'd say that are quite different than Hechicera.
I think so that is interesting, because normally we used to do it, we use it for cocktails and spirits and everything. However, in your website, you're mentioning that part that, well, it's really good to try it just neat, or as you were saying, on the rocks. That is because the flavor is very smooth and it's spicy. That's the reason why. Or why do you recommend it? Because also you have a lot of different cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I mean, I do not only recommend enjoying it neat or on the rocks, but I do think that for a quality rum, it's the best way to actually understand what the flavors are, how they get there, and really just understand whether or not you like it. Look, let's be honest. People open a bottle and have a drink to, maybe unwind after a long day or enjoy some time with friends. A drink is a fun thing to have. Now, from a functional perspective, you might as well just enjoy a vodka and you will, in a sense, get the same effect. That said, or that being true, that rather, why would you age something for up to 21 years in a barrel just to, get the same functional effect? Well, the reason you wait that long is because in that aging process, you actually get a lot of complexities, these really, this really interesting and characterful notes of wood and oak, just the natural results of the interaction between the atmosphere, the actual gives way to something that is uniquely different. That it's not it's a way to that's through a alone. Now, once you have that, it's going to be really easy to mix it into a cocktail, whether that is an old fashioned, a Manhattan, or a twist on any bourbon or whiskey cocktail. That you said it will work great.
Oh, interesting. Because I know from the promo we saw the mojito being used for that. So you'd recommend it for an old fashioned even? Oh, interesting. I think
so. It was frozen.
I lost you for a second, but Whitney.
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah. I was just wondering, so would you recommend it for some of those like bourbon cocktails, like an old fashioned? Because I think that'd be really interesting to know.
Without a doubt.
Really?
Look, when you try that bottle, Whitney, you'll notice that it's quite dry. It's very woody, and I think that's ultimately what you need for a good old fashioned. You need a nice woody, boozy base, and this is what you're going to get it from. So yes, it works very well in an old fashioned. It's actually my favorite cocktail. It works well in a Presidente, a rum Manhattan. It works well in a Boulevardier, which is actually a twist on a Negroni, where you have bourbon instead of gin. And yes, it works well in a mojito. It's a product of the Caribbean, and although the mojito is a quintessentially Cuban cocktail, it's also such a good staple for rum, and it's so very refreshing. And again, easy to make at home. So by all means, give it a shot. I think you'd enjoy that.
So it sounds like a very versatile, rum that you could use in a lot of ways. That sounds really great.
Sorry, and also I think that it's interesting what you're saying, because normally people, they believe that if you're going to prepare a cocktail, you can use it any kind of rums or any kind of alcohol that you're going to mix it with, because it's not relevant. However, I think so. Like if you have a high quality rum, in this case, of course, the taste and the flavor is going to be much better. It's not because you are combining it and you are destroying the flavor of the rum. You are adding other flavors that, well, they are going to create like a great mix in order that you can enjoy it much better. And also, well, the best thing for people that they are watching us here in the UK is that, well, it's buyable here. You can buy it. And also I have seen that people, they are posting actually where they can buy it here in the comment sections. So
exchange, you walk right in and they give you a bottle. It's on the top shelf. Just ask for rum, top shelf.
That's wonderful.
You said it. Yeah, I got it.
So look, if you're in London, you can look for it in Hedonism Wine and Spirits. You can look for it in Harvey Nichols actually is a great place to get it. But you can also get it, I guess, in this lockdown context in e-commerce, everything from Ocado to Amazon to Master of Malt and so many others. So by all means, just Google Hechicera in the UK. I'm sure more than one choice will pop up.
And when are you coming to the UK, Miguel?
Look, it's really hard to make plans right now, but if I'm lucky, I should be there sometime in January. We'll see how things pan out.
Okay, yeah, because it could be very good. Well, just to continue talking more about rum, I know that, well, there are a lot of things, and maybe if you can tell us a little bit about the process also, it's very interesting to know all that part, from the raw material to the final product that we can see in the different presentations, well, or in the bottle. And actually, it's like, I know that, well, people, they already start saying that, well, one of the questions that, how is the meaning of La Hechicera in English? But I think so
he already talked about enchantress and
exactly. They already put
the enchantress, the sorceress, something along those lines.
To like captivate you, right? Yeah.
And the best thing for our audience is that La Hechicera is going to give us 2 bottles of rum that we're going to give it the 29th, I think, so the 22nd, sorry, and the 5th of January. So, of course, people that they watch the program, they will have the opportunity to enjoy this amazing rum that is made there in Colombia. So, well, it's like, it's interesting.
And Miguel, I know you have to go and we're so sorry, but hopefully we can get you on again to talk more about this rum, maybe show us a cocktail or two to make with it and talk about, I really want to learn about the history behind the company. So hopefully we'll have you on again and for more time.
I'd love to
dive into that even more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for having me in the first place. It's always nice to share this story.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure for us. Okay, thank you, Miguel.
Personally. Thank you, Miguel.
Please do, and enjoy. Salud.
Thank you. Salud. Ciao.
I'll see you.
Well, of course, just to complete this segment, so, well, here we have another recipe that, well, another mojito that you can prepare. Well, I'm drooling now. Yeah, it looks like fantastic. And, well, thank you very much for all the people that they are watching us. And, well, do you remember that I told you that, well, you can win a piñata here in the show? So, well, it's very easy. It's going to be a quiz of 2 simple questions. The first one is going to be, what is this wave season in El Salvador, to visit El Salvador? If you want to go to practice some surf. Remember, there are 2 questions. So, well, it's like, remember that, well, 2 answers together in the same comment, you put 2 answers. So put answer number 1, comma, answer number 2. Yeah. So for the first question, it's going to be, when is the best season to visit El Salvador to go to surf, or the wave season that we're talking at the beginning. And the second question is like, where is originally Rum La Hechicera? Yeah. So, well, please send us your commentaries, put it in one comment. Please put the two answers, and you can win this fantastic piñata. So go over to you, Whitney. I think so. We have like
actually, I think,
or no, we don't have 2 minutes.
Yeah, no. I have my segment in a minute, but I know Olaya is still here. So I was just Olaya. Yeah. I know she's waiting to answer our questions. Thank you for being so patient, Olaya. Sorry, Miguel had like something right at 9:30, so I apologize.
I didn't know whether to stay or
no. We wanted you to stay, but he was writing to me, so that's why I was trying to get it done quick, because I know he only had like 15 minutes to talk. But I just had a really a question about the gift giving, because we didn't really get into that. Can you talk about the tradition of gift giving and its impacts and what you've learned through your research about this, particularly modern day, like Chilean Christmas?
Well, actually, if I talk about Chile, maybe I'm extrapolating to other countries, and I would like to know the opinion of other people from Latin America. But I would say that in traditional society, the gift have a different sense than in modern society, since in traditional society, people used to give and to make presents the best of what they have. And when I'm saying this, I'm telling about things that they made by themselves. So they spend energy and time making their own gift for other people, or the harvest of their own orchards or farmyards. So I think that giving fruits and flowers was a way to give something that had sense for them, because was part of their own surrounding. But then when modernity came, it meant that urbanization, and also all the scenery of the writing also came. So people began also giving Christmas postcards, for example, as a way to connect with other people from other places. When you stayed in the countryside and you have a family in the city, you send them a postcard, and it's a way of making this distance a little bit shorter. But it's a different gift, because it is a mass-produced thing and not the thing that you make by yourself, which is unique. And then after the postcard, I would say that the mass-produced thing and society came in glory, and people began just buying things in shops, and that meant that the sense of the gift is more related to the commodity and not to these circulations of senses that the gift economy meant. So I would say that now we have a lot of distance between the one who gives and the one who receives, because sometimes you buy a gift card, sometimes you buy just what is in sale, but you are not giving yourself in the thing that you are going to give to the other. So the thing that we give us a lot of information on the society that is behind. So that's what I think, that the Christmas gift is a historical source and is a sociological source to talk about our own society.
Thank you so much. I know we wanted to get to that before we close this interview, so thank you for being so patient with us.
No, thank you, Whitney.
Of course. It was so wonderful. I wish we had more time. I think that's the theme of tonight's episode. There's so many wonderful things to talk about, but thank you so much for staying with us, Olaya. You're welcome to stay for the last few minutes, but thank you again. It was really wonderful to hear.
You can notice another difference. See how you are your clothes now, right now, and having a Christmas in the summertime is very, very different from the winter time. So copying the Northern Hemisphere tradition is very strange because we don't have snow at all right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's interesting also. Yeah, because normally it's like, and actually all, well, I don't know, but all the carols that we have, normally they are talking about the snow, cold, and everything, and not
Yeah.
about the warm
Charles-
weather.
it's
Yeah.
Charles Dickens, I would say that is the Charles Dickens Christmas, that it was imposed in a good sense, but it's that imagery that is imposed to the whole world, but it doesn't have any sense for us.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I wish we had a warmer Christmas, but oh well, that's life. It's what you get when you live around here.
You have snowflakes as your background, and look at my
Yeah.
background.
I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
actually, we're indoors and we're
And
wearing this.
sweaters,
No?
yeah. We're freezing. It's dark. It's cold. We're questioning
Enjoy
why
it
we
anyway.
live in London right now.
Yeah, and we're in lockdown. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you. This is a positive program, Whitney.
Yeah, I'm a little pessimistic, hence the black. I'm mourning. Anyways, thank you so much for being a part of our show, Olaya.
No, thank
It's
you.
really
Thank you for inviting me, and have a Merry Christmas and enjoy
You
it.
too.
You
Yes.
too, and a good holidays for you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. And well, of course, well, we're going to have, and I'm just going to share quickly some of the events that we have that, well, it's like this week, if you have the opportunity. Well, tomorrow, Wednesday, 16th of December at 6 p.m., you have this virtual Zoom Colombian cooking class fundraising event for Children Change Colombia charity. And well, in this occasion, well, they are going to teach you how to prepare a tres leches cake with a professional pastry, the chef, Marianne Fox. So, well, it's like the tickets, they are there. You can find it at the email, rebecca@childrenchangecolombia.org. So please, as we said at the beginning, it's very easy to change the world. We can do small things and we can get a lot of outcome. So I know that you have El Ron, and you put me that slide like trying to push me, even it's
I'm getting
9:40.
ready.
And people, they are waiting actually that, well, it's like, who is going to be the winner of the piñata? So, well, it's like, what is that? What is that?
No, I'm just starting. I'm just have my segment ready for when we're ready. Because I know we're short on time. Are we good?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
No. Okay, so guys, for the tallies, I noticed I only heard from a few of you, but I appreciate the ones that we heard from. We had ties throughout, except one vote extra from Turismo Cultural. So that's good to know that we have a very diverse audience as far as being interested in ecotourism, adventure, cultural, gastronomic, well-being. And someone added Turismo de Experiencias, which can be experiences all around, and Eco-Amigable, which is like eco-friendly. So that was really interesting, and we're going to keep that in mind definitely next time when we look into tourism and talk about that. So, okay, since we talked about rum, especially Hechicera rum, here are a few key phrases when ordering your rum while in a restaurant, bar, or shop, should you buy it, in a Latin American or Spanish-speaking country. So we have a ron, which is rum, and you can say un trago de, una copa de, un vaso de ron, por favor. They all mean like a drink, like a rum. And if you like it on the rocks, con hielo, or en las rocas, either one. And I know that if you are going to have your Hechicera rum, it's either con hielo, en las rocas, en un cóctel, or solo, which is a neat. So un vaso de ron solo, un trago de ron solo, or una copa de ron solo is like a drink of like rum and nothing else on it, like neat, no ice. Okay, I'm trying to go quickly. So I'm glad we didn't get to this in the interview, because that means I'm not repeating stuff. Here are a couple types of rum, because which rum do you know, are you going to know to order unless you're a rum expert? So here are a few options. And we talked about colors, and this is where they come back into play. A ron blanco means white rum. It's transparent, which means it's usually aged for a shorter period of time than dark rums, and it has a sweet and subtle flavor. We also have a ron dorado, which is golden rum, And this was mentioned in the interview. It's medium bodied, fruity, and has like a honey edge, like golden rum. And it gets its color and complexity thanks to the time it's spent in the barrels. And this is one of the fastest growing styles of rum. It's known to be great in cocktails, but smooth enough to be sipped on its own or on the rocks. And then Ron Añejo, and this is what Hechicera describes itself to be, but they call it Extra Añejo, which means aged rum or extra aged rum. As you know, this means it's been stored in the barrel for longer than other rums. And another way to say that is like Ron Viejo, and that's old rum. And so when you're in a store, you can say, yo like busco una botella de, and then Ron Dorado, if you're a fan of the golden rum, which we made a reference to in our Nicaraguan episode when we also talked about surfing, when we talked about flor de caña. And then if you like a ron añejo or extra añejo, then I obviously recommend La Hechicera from tonight's episode. And very quickly, we're just going to go on to our final segment, as quick, which is Heard on the Street. And I adapted what I did last week using the 3 countries that we honored tonight with the same words that we did last week. So you're going to see them in Colombian Spanish again, but I took some insight from the comments as well. So when we talk about the word chévere guay, which is cool, you could say chivo chiva in El Salvador, and those are your flags in case you're like flag challenged. And then we have Chile in the middle, which can mean bacán, sometimes pronounced as bacán because the B's and B's can be pronounced like switched. And then we have bacano in Colombia or bacana. You can also say chimba, and it's bacán when you're describing people rather than a thing. Then last few, we have una cerveza, which is una birria in El Salvador, una chela, which I also used to say in Mexico, as we established last episode, and then una pola or una birra as well in Colombia. And I'm sure there are more. I'm going for like some of the more common words, so bear with me. Okay, amigo, friend. This is chero or chera in El Salvadorian. Yunta, which more is like a close friend in Chile, or pata. And then parcero, parcera, as we learned last week in Colombia. And then ¿qué tal? This is like what's up. And again, this is slang, so you use it in an informal context, obviously. So ¿qué ondas? I've established this in at least one episode or two that it's the same in Mexico. It literally means like what waves, like what's up. And then it's the same in Chile and Colombia, ¿qué hubo? And it's ¿qué hubo? But that's above it is how it's written, ¿qué hubo? And it's short for that. And then finally, last one, una fiesta, party, because we're getting close to the party times, although limited in the UK up to 3 bubbles apparently. It's una fiesta, and in El Salvador, we say una pachanga, which is also known as like a genre of music, but again, and then we have un carrete in Chile y una rumba in Colombia. For more insight, and if you want to check out cataloged issues of our shows, go to my website, subscribe, and I'll be working on it over the break, so more new material to come. And there you go. That's my 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. They were not 2 minutes, but it doesn't matter.
No, but we said 5. That's good.
Okay, so well, it's like, thank you very much for all the people that they still watching us. Well, I have received all the answers about the quiz, and well, I have seen that, well, some of them, they are putting Colombia, that, well, I know that our friends from Colombia, they are going to try to kill you, but later on they corrected. And of course, well, some of them, they put dates like they were different, like September to May or something. What's going on? What's going on, Erica? So I think so. Well, it's like, I have the first right question. It was at Brigitte that he put it. So it's like, so well, congratulations to Brigitte, very quick that you answered, but everywhere, well, anyway, Garin is correct, and also I think so. Well, Isabella, she just put one month, but actually it's like, yeah, March to November. Nahida is correct, and she corrected the part of Colombia for Colombia. Carolina Prada also, she's correct. Thank you very much for, well, Yvonne Velasquez, she's a great guest. Thank you, Carolina Prada. Thanks for sharing this tradition as well. But also, we're going to have more tradition next Tuesday, that we're going to talk about Mexico. We're going to talk about Colombia, Paraguay, and Cuba. And we're going to talk about these parties and how we're celebrating the Christmas. What are we eating? What are we doing? And also, we're going to talk about the Christmas season in Mexico City. We're going to have the Ministry of Tourism of Mexico City here in the program. So, well, it's going to be amazing. Remember, we're going to have a lot of prizes. Thank you to all the supporters. We're going to make, well, we're doing our best in order to please you. And also, please, as I told you before, share this video, please. You are helping a lot of people. It's very easy, just a click. And don't forget tomorrow, this Zoom, in order that you know how to prepare a tres leches cake. So, Whitney, Nuchereno.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Next week, I'm going to focus my segment also on traditions and party words. And two things, I'm going to post an article that was recently written about us that won an award. So I'm going to repost that on our website, and also the name of the Spotify list to find us too, in case you're getting sick of Christmas music at some point, all the artists that we previously had on the show. So stay tuned for that, and good night. See you next week.
Thank you very much, my dear Whitney. Well, Roger is not today here, but well, thank you very much to all of you. And thank you for supporting us. Thank you for all the people that they are making possible this show, all the supporters, all the sponsors, everybody. Thank you very much. Keep safe and see you next Tuesday. Remember, my name is Enrique Gelista, and next Tuesday we will talk about traditions, Christmas traditions, a lot of prizes. Don't miss out the next show. So thank you very much. The Latin America show, remember, is every Tuesday, 8 p.m. London time. Thank you very much. See you next Tuesday.